So, yeah, welcome to NFTOPIA School. We're doing it slightly differently today. Um, we're going to go through my top 10 tips and tricks for NFTOPIA success. Because it's NFTOPIA Lite, we're not going to dive into the topics as much. We're just going to sort of skim over the top. We try to make it as fresh as possible. But there are some things that we've covered before, and most importantly, because it's too late to probably apply some of these to this NFTopia if you are exhibiting. However, it's stuff that you can just use day to day in your projects. It does come with a health warning, people. This is what I think, in my opinion, and works for me as Drawn Company, but we are very unique. So, take what I say, but please do your own research, talk to other creators, because the advice that I give you, whilst I try and give it across the board, might not be relevant to your particular project. But I'm always here to sort of answer your questions on that. So for me, NFTopia is the number one tool to connect us as creators to new collectors. But we ask the question, but how do we know this? Well, it's simple, right? If you look at Drawn Company's sales over the past 6 months, that big spike in the middle was the last NFTopia. So I can't preach enough about how much if you put effort into making NFTopia a success, it can really make a difference to your collection on so many levels. I mean, for the reason that spike is big as well, it's a bit of a sort of like how do you say? It's a bit of an anomaly because that was the height of the PFP craze, and I did do 2 drops within an hour, which I don't recommend anyone does. There were 2 AAAs back to back, but we pulled it off. We wouldn't be doing 2 AAAs back to back this time because the market conditions are slightly different. But yeah, without NFTopia, I wouldn't have been doing those 2 drops back to back. So I attribute the success, that spike in sales, solely to NFTopia and the work that I put in to make it a success. But there you go, you've seen it for yourself. So let's go through a few no-brainers first, right? Now, if you've been to an NFTopia school before, you'll know I always open with, please, 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 start with the basics. Make sure you're following the NFTopia on X. Make sure you're in the Discord. And don't forget to tag NFTopia on Twitter in every post that you're doing, which is related to event content, because you will get that retweet, and at the very least you'll get a like, which helps you out with your reach. Because if Twitter's seeing that you're talking to a brand like NFTopia and they're interacting with you, it's a good thing. We're here now. We're testing the metaverse, so we're lucky because we've had this little introduction of consumer. If you are going to exhibit at one of these events, or even come as a collector, just make sure you test it out before you come. And we're hitting the ground running because we know a few of the keyboard shortcuts, which is great. One thing I always say as well, there are no stupid questions, right? So there's so many approachable creators in our space that are not just knowledgeable about NFTopia, but they're knowledgeable in their particular silo. Like I make mass market products, other people will make one-ones. Consumer's got his app. So there's all sorts of different sort of like expertise on chain, and we're all friendly. So make sure you are approaching people if you have a question, because no one's going to bite your head off or turn you away. They might not be able to answer it there or then, but they'll get back to you. Start planning early. This is integral. So as I said, it's too late for NFTopia Lite, but there's no reason why you can't start looking at the success other people are having with NFTopia and thinking about your M4 strategy. And again, I'm absolutely snowed for the next few months because of Comic-Con and everything that's going on with Drawn Company. But after that, we're free. So in the new year, when we're building up to the next NFTopia event, just hit me up and we can discuss how you can make the best out of the event. Number two, so again, these tips apply to everything apart from NFTopia. So everything in your project. So when you're starting something like working towards NFTopia, make sure you establish your aims and objective really early, right? Now we've got the chicken and the egg in Web3. Do we concentrate on products first, or do we try and build a community? And we see lots of people trying to build a community with a promise of something coming, right? With NFTopia in particular, you just want to focus on one thing. And just to throw another thing into the chicken and egg analogy there, you've also got like building relationships, right? So what I recommend with NFTopia in particular is just choosing something that you're going to come to the event. If you're not exhibiting, if you're exhibiting or not, and just think that's my sole focus. My sole focus is to onboard new collectors. My sole focus is to build my community stronger, because they're different things. My sole focus is to get an NFT into someone's wallet, because that for me is the ultimate opportunity. All the collectors that are going to be coming in all have one thing in common. They'll probably have a Wax wallet, right? So for me, the objective of every NFTopia is to just put the brand out there and get my NFTs into more collectors' wallets. It's as simple as that. And I've never changed. I've never changed since the Digicon days. That's my ethos. And one thing that I will say to you is, remember, it should be fun. Like, there's a lot of people in our space at the minute who aren't having fun, and I really wish that they'd remember that it's just about having fun. We should be having fun because fun is infectious. And if we're all having fun, I have fun all the time with Drawn Company. I have fun 24/7, and that comes through the project, and it comes through when I'm exhibiting at NFTopia through the crazy stuff that we do. So the next one, bit of a serious one, clear branding and messaging, right? So one thing about like clear branding is that, and Monty said this the other day, Aesthetic Monte, if you don't know him, give him a follow. He's sort of like a thought leader on the Wax blockchain, and he says some bizarre stuff, but he also says some gems. And the one thing he said the other day was, branding is not just about your logo. And I think people forget that sometimes a good brand increases confidence, right? But a good brand needs to be something that's consistent. Now, this comes sort of like into where I say, do as I say, not as I do, because Drawn Company is built on lots of sub brands. Now, because of my marketing background, I can pull that off, but I wouldn't, I wouldn't expect all creators to go out there and be able to create mini sub brands within a brand and make them as distinguished, and for them to hold up on themselves, because what I do relies on that. But overall, with your overall collection, you just want to be thinking you need to be consistent, right? So if you've ever seen my Karen PFPs, love them or hate them, you distinctively know that that's a Karen PFP, and more importantly, you know that the Karen brand there sits within the Drawn Company brand, which works. And we're doing that with our upcoming stuff. One thing you want to sort of like always think about your NFTs when we're thinking about branding and messaging is every NFT that you get into a holder's wallet is like a mini billboard. So that's the way I see it. I think if I want someone else to see that in someone's wallet, and if they do, I want it to be so cool that it's going to stand out in amongst the other NFTs, because we know some collectors have got thousands of NFTs in their wallet. And more importantly, a good mini billboard will stand out on the marketplace. I still give myself a pat on the back when I see one scroll up when I'm looking through Atomic Hub randomly, and I think, oh, that's so cool, because there they are, they're out there, they're the mini billboards doing as they should do. So yeah, as I said before, do as I say, not as I do. Just think about your core branding and your messaging, and ensure that it's consistent. So you've got a nice logo that you're using it with sort of like the type of images that I've got there. And that's a great example. That's my Karen slide from the last NFTopia. And all I've done to make that slide was extend the logo downwards, use the same text, but also taken some elements from the PFP, and it looks really striking, and it's simple. There's nothing sort of like ingenious about that. But again, some people will look at that and it'll make you want to puke in your mouth because I know it can be decisive, but I think it looks cool. This is one more thing on branding and messaging, and then we'll move on. And I put, do you pay for it, sir? If you know British comedy, there used to be some comedians in the 90s who used to be working in a gentleman's dressing room in a clothing shop, and they always used to go, "Oh, sir, do you pay for it, sir?" But yeah, do you pay for it? So one thing I would say to everyone is really look into the marketing options that are on the blockchain at the minute, because there's really good ways to get your branding out there, and they're not that expensive. They might be out of some projects' reach, but I comfortably sort of like pay for sort of like a month's worth of advertising on the banner for NFT Hive, and that doesn't half work because you get so many click-throughs. Again, you have to create engaging content. It has to be clear, and we have to go back to that mini billboard sort of thing. But blooming hell, you invest a little in the brand in your project, and you get lots back, because again, we're doing very targeted marketing there. All we need to do is create something super sexy that people are going to click on, and they're going to check out your drop or your website. Moving on. Well, not moving on at all, right? So I've got a question for you regarding branding, and I don't want any of the friendlies here to answer this. I want a random. So who can tell me what DC, so Drawn Companies dropping at NFTOPIA Lite, can anybody do that? And this could be suicide. Can anybody do it? I can't. Are you still there, or have you all walked off? That's happened once before.
We're still here.
Anybody? Come on.
I don't know what you're giving out. What are you doing?
Who is that?
Yo, Optic.
Oh, hi, Optic. You don't know what I'm doing.
No, I haven't been in your Discord a little bit. Sorry, I apologize.
So can even okay, friendlies then.
It's gotta be a sticker. Gotta be a sticker.
It's not a sticker.
Is it
It's a
PFP?
new PFP.
Yeah.
Ah,
PFP animated, right?
Yeah. Who said that? Sorry.
Wax Pieheads.
Oh, cool. Okay. So have you any idea what the brand's called?
I forget now, but I can picture it in my head right now.
Cereal.
Is it like that? So, right, I've just committed presentation suicide, right? You were close there. So let's call it a 50-50 win for me, right? So I am doing a PFP, which you were correct. Sorry, I can't remember what your name was. I'm doing.
I have the tab open. I'm waiting for it to drop.
Yeah, cool. So what I was trying to demonstrate there was that through the sort of like work on the brand that I'd done, I was hoping someone would come back and say armored creatures from the garbage, right? But for me, that's why it's a 50-50 win. Okay, I haven't got the fact that the brand is stuck in someone's head, but you quite clearly said I'm doing PFPs with an animated slant, which was actually a major win for me because it's a combination of a PFP with animated NFTs. So you can see how, although I didn't get a complete sort of like I wanted a a sort of rollover victory there, we got some sort of victory, which was good, and that's through the work that we do on the brand. So next up then, number 4, use and abuse your data, right? I did a whole 20 minutes on this, and I'm not going to do that today. So the blockchain affords you lots of data, which is there that you can then use to inform your decision making. And we're just going to look at the data that's available on Atomic Hub for your own individual collection. So if you go to your market page, you can see what is selling, which is really important because it sort of gives you an idea of what people are buying the most. It's as simple as that. We can also see who is buying what. So your Atomic Hub collection page will tell you, even down to schema level and NFT, who's holding it, which is important because if we can understand what people are holding more of, we can make more of that. If we've got stuff at the other end where we've produced lots of stuff and there's not many holders relative to something else within the collection, we can start to make informed decisions and say, do you know what? That's just not as popular. It's as simple as that. Um, you sort of like, I don't know why I've got 1/1s or Funkos there. What was I trying to say there? It'll come to me later. Sorry. I'm very busy at the minute. But we'll get.
Were you referring to physical redeemables?
No, the point that I was trying to make was, there's a fine line, sort of like, yeah. So let's let's backtrack. I've got it. Thanks for that. You've reminded me. So basically, there's a fine difference in the type of collector who collects a 1/1 to those who like collecting Funkos and Drawn Company, because whilst we have PFPs, we're more mass market packs of NFTs. So you can use the data to not only sort of like find you know, within your own collection who's collecting what, but you can go to similar collections. But yeah, the point that I'm trying to say there is don't just look for any old collection and say, okay, we'll look at who's collecting that. If you do 1/1s, find another 1/1 collection. If you do the style of Drawn Company, where it's pack led and sort of like mass market, then we'd be looking for collections like Funko. But we'll come back to that later. So another thing that I always bash on about is sell it before you make it, right? And this sort of comes back to me, that I preach about this sort of like all the time. It's to not be sort of like scared to fail, right? So whenever I'm starting something new, I will put an initial teaser out on X and show something. And the example of that is the type of tweet that I do on the right hand side, which is a very basic sort of like, not a fully formed idea, but it might look like it's already fully created. And unfortunately, that's not a GIF. You can't see it spinning. I've done a bit more work on that, to tell you the truth. But again, what I'm trying to illustrate is, if you're working on something, just put it out there to sort of like gain an idea of who's interested. I did it once with sort of like a 1980s style games console, and the tweet that I did got more likes than anything I'd ever done before. So I instantly knew that I needed to make a collection of 1980s style consoles, and that was massive for me in the early days. Arcade in My Pocket was called. We're going to do some more soon. But it just basically, social media gives you the ability to test new ideas, and almost it sort of like becomes an iterative process with your community, but without them knowing, because they're instantly giving you feedback. So if I do a tweet where I get lots of likes, I know people like it. But generally, when I show something new, that gets a reaction out of people. When I'm just tweeting about the stuff that people know is coming, they're sort of less likely to sort of like say, oh, that looks cool. But you know, if people are commenting on it, you get 4 or 5 comments and something that you haven't put out there before, you know you're onto a winner. And the same the other way. If it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. You can just move on to the next thing. So we're looking to understand people's reactions on the new stuff you put out there. Also, use your connections. You can test stuff on your market through like collectors that you might know, or other creators, because the creators will give you sort of like the technical perspective, and to be honest, they'll always tell you that it looks great, but you just need to know how to deal with that feedback. So before we leave this, sell it before you make it, that's my ultimate sell it before you make it. So I just started doing the action figures, and this was a GIF I created with Karen dressed in sort of like an anime style jumpsuit, and I got the cool logo on the front there, and then it just sort of like teased it. I said, you know, this is coming to NFTOPIA. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Digicon at the time, and it got such a good reaction to the initial tweet off the back of that elusive image. I was able to then spin the collection out of it off the back of it, and I did that sort of like over a 4-week period, but it worked. It sold out. Again, a completely different time, but the same rules apply now. Just get stuff out there, create it. If it's not right, take it back. No one's gonna sort of like you know, come and batter you for it later on. And if they do, that means that there's a market for it there. So just go ahead and make it. So, but in particular, sort of like with NFTOPIA, right? never go in for the kill. And by that, sorry, don't go in for the kill. By that, I mean never open with a sales conversation. And I've learned this over time, right? The best way to sell something to someone, if you're in a situation where you've got new collectors, is to ask open questions and get them to talk about why they love wax NFTs. Because if you talk to someone about what they love, they'll immediately give you ways to be able to say, oh, well, if you like that, actually, we do this sort of thing in our collection. It's not going to always work, but at the same time, because we're all sort of like sharing in the space and we're all trying to build relationships, by having that conversation and saying, well, what wax NFTs do you like? Might not be relevant to your collection, but you might be able to turn around to them and say, oh, you like that? Well, actually, to be honest, I do, Karen, PFPs, you're probably not going to like me, but why don't you go and look at humble drawings? Because in this example, someone said they like, fine artworks. So that's the type of conversation that you have and the type of community that sort of like makes us stronger as a big old team, I think, because we do that. But I think that what I'm trying to say is just never just try and sell something to someone. The same works with relationships and collabs. If you go up to someone and say, hey, I'd like to collab with you, it's not half as beneficial to do that than to just build the relationship, learn about them, see if you've got anything in common. And hopefully you'll all know that I'm going to Comic-Con. I'm taking wax with Broken Dolls to Comic-Con, and that was the secret to that. There was no sales really in that. I just had conversations with people, built up trust, and now we're going for the second time this year. Sorry, we're battering through them tonight. Go exclusive, people. It's super hard, and I meant to say not there, because the one thing that really nags me and will continue to nag me is that from the start of Digicon and NFTOPIA, I've always been using and abusing the brand, not on the NFTs that I'm selling themselves, but just on the marketing material. And as a consequence, every time I'm doing a social tweet, I'm including the NFTOPIA logo, which is a double win. It's a double win for me because, first of all, the NFTOPIA guys are more likely to retweet my stuff because I'm completely aligning it to them. So again, if we look at what I've done there, and this is probably not the best example because the NFTOPIA is in the background, I wouldn't advise you do that on your first time, but just make something that is an NFT with the NFTOPIA logo on it. It's not hard, and then it becomes an exclusive, right? And you know what? Exclusivity sells because you're creating something that's limited to the event. It's only going to be sold there. So you've got a bit of FOMO. So you've got your value times 2. And that only comes, and the secret is, I always tell this to people, is just putting the logo on your marketing materials. It's as simple as that. And, I always say, ask for permission, but really it should be the other way around. Don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness, because no one's going to be doing something that's really untoward. If you are NSFW as a collection, I'd always say maybe talk to Sarah, talk to consumer if you've got any doubts, but really putting the NFTOPIA logo, overlaying it on something that you're doing at NFTOPIA is not going to get you told off because you're providing extra content for the event. So please just do it, get tagging away and get using that logo in creative ways. So we've got 2 more points and then I'm going to shut up and we'll go to our round table. So let's look at mint numbers and pricing, because this is something I did last time and I think is really, really interesting, more pertinent now. So we see lots of 10,000 mint PFPs and you just think, okay, cool, but like, what's the end game there? Like, we've got Drawn Company, and I'm not just trying to big myself up here. I'm telling you because I know the data. I've got about 200 core collectors. So I know that if I was to do a drop of PFPs, right, that actually probably only 20% of my core collectors are currently engaged, right? That's important to know, because even though I've got a rewards program and I've got 200 rewards cards out there, I tend to get sort of like a full churn every 6 months of collected. So I'm never going to sell 10,000 PFPs. So really, before you're creating anything, go back to the data. And this is what I'm saying at the bottom. Have a look at you know, what is reasonable to expect of your collectors, whilst aiming a bit higher, because you can always sort of say, okay, well, I've got this core of collectors, so what's 20% of 200? I'm probably speaking to about 40 collectors at the minute. What's the realistic amount of PFPs that I could sell in my next drop? You know, it's as simple as that. And then we've got that balancing act. If you put too many NFTs out there, you know, you're not going to create scarcity, because rarity creates scarcity, and I've spelled creates there wrong. Scarcity creates FOMO, and those two things increase sales, especially in our space. And just one more thing on this, it's like, for me, it's the curse. I've spelled that wrong. The cures of the giveaway, the curse of the giveaway, right? Giveaways can be sort of like a really good or a bad thing, but really, sort of like, we've given stuff away in the wax space for a long time, and I'm sort of like, I'm at the other end of the scale, where I don't do many giveaways, but add more value to the giveaways that I'm doing. So as opposed to getting out hundreds of NFTs and trying to get them in lots of different wallets, I'm sort of more targeted and say, okay, we will do a giveaway, but if I've got a couple of streamers that are going to be doing giveaways, or you know, someone like Time Traveler, it will be one or two things that are worth a bit more. So all things to consider. Last thing on this that I want to show you is this little matrix, right? And I developed this with my dad, because he's done years of business consulting, right? And I said, I want to demonstrate this. So if you look on the left hand column, we've got low price, right? So if something's low price, we can stack them high, yeah, so we can probably sell lots of them, and they're probably easier for us to sell in the short term. But actually, all you're doing there is creating a lot of low value assets. And again, there's nothing really wrong in that, right? But you have to think that's going to have impacts later on, especially on things like your floor. And I'm sorry if we've got lots of more advanced creators in here, because I might be teaching you to suck eggs. However, you might have considered this before, but you've never seen it sort of like written down and then go, oh, okay, so like I sort of understand what he's trying to say there. Now, the interesting thing about something like NFTs or tech is we can go in at a premium price, because we know, right, from the world of everything, that early adopters are more likely to want to buy something that is a premium price, because they're sort of like assured by the fact that it is expensive. But if we go sort of like down the higher value, we can then put an emphasis on quality over trying to stack them high. So we're immediately sort of being more targeted with what we're doing. And again, in the relation to mint numbers and pricing, we're just creating smaller pools to create that scarcity. Potentially it's a harder sell, right? But I put question marks on both of those, because there's good points and bad points, isn't there? So we do know that, you know, if you've got a good product and the branding's right in the wax space, in the NFT space, you could probably charge a premium for it. But you don't want to go in too expensive. You don't want to price yourself out the market. But at the other end of things, as I say, with the lower price, is it an easier sell? What's the end game there? Because once you sell something for the first time, it's harder to then push your prices up. And Drawn Company is a testament to that. This time last year, I was still selling packs of 5 NFTs for 5 wax in what I deem as a AAA drop. So, you know, we've gone from walking to running overnight, really, and that wasn't an easy thing to do. We've had to build trust, and we've had to build the brand, we've had to build the community, and we've done all those things at the same time, and we've been able to put our price up over time. But I don't think in the majority of cases it would really be possible. So going back to establishing mint numbers, and this is the last thing, right? Specifically, I rely on promo drops to really assess what sort of where I'm hitting the next thing. Now, as what I've done with my latest lot of promo drops is I've done a freebie, right? And I've given them to 4 different audiences. So the audience on the left is the Warrior Princess holders. So there's 78 holders, 38 have claimed. The next one was for my management program. There's 200 of them in total, 73 have claimed. And then we've got our serial killer holders. So I know that I'm contacting 44 out of the 68 people. That's not total holders, that's people that are in my Discord. And then the last one is the Hyper Premium Club. They get something extra special. They get 2 of the upgraded tokens for the next PFP drop, but for the animated collection. So I can see that I'm talking to almost all of those, which is good. But again, what I'm trying to say here is, because I do that, I've now got a clear idea of the type of market I'm going into next week, knowing that by being at NFTOPIA, I'm going to probably be able to double my reach instantly, because that's what I'd say it would be. So we're almost there, people. It's so hot in here. I'm a bit out of breath tonight. PFP, so keep it simple, stupid, KISS. We should all live by this. I see so many people using GPT to create all sorts of things to tell people about the upcoming rewards and how staking works, specifically in the PFP space. If you want to do that, that's cool, right? You can do that. But I prefer something like this, because it's just a simple tick chart that works. We've been running it. We amend it slightly. Whenever we amend it, we update the community and say, I've moved this because of this. You know, no one's had any objections yet, but I'm not taking anything away from what I'm trying to say is there as the rewards. I'm just moving it around because our collectors have been absolutely caned since October, like seriously caned. Like we've had, sorry, not since October, since August, since the end of July. I've done 2 PFPs, a full AAA Karen Burger drop, an expansion for Karen Burger, and now we're expecting people to come out next week for Armored Creatures. None of this would be possible without NFTOPIA. So yeah, and again, when we come to the round table, challenge me about that. If you think it's better to go down the written road, then let's just have the debate, because again, as I said at the start, this is what works for me, but I'm just giving you sort of like what I would deem as an example of best practice when it comes to telling people what perks and rewards they're getting, just to keep it clear and digestible. Last thing, oh my God, we made it, everybody. Thank the Lord. We come back and we talk about several of the themes with what I call disposable marketing, right? You should look at, when you're tweeting, not really just tweeting a vanilla NFT, almost creating something that's either a combination of NFTs. So we've got my Armored Creatures from the garbage upgraders, which is going to be something that we're doing for Thanksgiving, which was an idea from someone in the Discord the other week. So we just ran with that and thought that'd be a great giveaway. But what I'm trying to demonstrate is there's no sort of rocket science going on here. With the Karen Burger one, I'm using one of the assets I had, and then I'm just overlaying some text. Those are all PNGs in After Effects. You might not have After Effects. You can do similar things in PowerPoint. Before I had access to After Effects, I was using PowerPoint all the time to make stuff that was, you know, okay, I wouldn't have been able to do the animation of the ghost spinning because the ghost is sort of like just moving up and down, but you get the idea. So always think of your marketing as something that is disposable, something that you should do quickly, and ad hoc, and just making what you already have pop slightly. Again, in the example of the 4 NFTs on the right hand side, that's all I've got there. I've got 4 NFTs. It wouldn't matter if what you were doing there was 4 static images with the logo in the middle. It's still better than just putting up a vanilla sort of like NFT. There's my current on the left hand side. That's for Armored Creatures. That's the GIF that I created for NFT Hive. But once I've created that, then I can use it in all sorts of other places. I can drop it in Discords. You'll see it on Twitter this week. So it's just like fast marketing, really. And that's it, guys. We survived. Enjoy the event, and it's back to our friend Consumer Break. I always get frightened now that we might have disconnected. We haven't. Hurrah! Oh my word, we got people.
Yeah, that was awesome. A lot of info in there for sure. And anybody that hasn't watched our past stuff, we also have
Is he speaking?
Content over on YouTube too at NFTOPIA. A lot of that was good. If any of us want to like go around and add to it or maybe object to it if you wanted, I want to point out that not every collection's the same. Clearly, the models are different for different ones, and this and that. This isn't good. And he kind of said that when he started too. It's not. It doesn't have to apply to all collections or anything. It's a very kind of. It's coming at it from the lens of Drawn Company, and that's fine. Here, Consumer Break and NFTOPIA, we do have lots of giveaways. We've set up NFTOPIA. The pins are meant to be given away. Consumer Break is meant to give away lots and lots of packs as like rewards to watch the stream and play the app and things. So it just depends on what you're wanting to do. But everything you covered is very good as like an average. I think there's a lot, like it's a very good central way to look at things and kind of pivot from there in whatever way you want. And you're always on point with the marketing too. All the gifts and all that. That's all good stuff. What do you guys think? Anybody? We have here 16 people in the metaverse. That's very cool. A few guests in here if you want to put in your name too.
Oh, all right. Can you hear me?
One of you guys know pretty much mostly already, but the primary marketing that we do in Web3, you got Twitter or X, TwitX, and then for the communities, you got Discord and Telegram. And if you're a newbie to being a creator, you should definitely be diving into those things. You should be using Twitter X. X Twitter. You should be having either a Discord or a Telegram or both if you're trying to keep up with both. But you gotta have somewhere central where your community is gonna be able to communicate and be part of everything. And you as the creator is part of it too. You're also building based on the feedback. It's a lot more so like that in Web3. It really should be that way for any product. You should be building off of the feedback. So, and then on the TwitX, yeah, that's where crypto people are. You can have a Facebook and an Instagram and all the other things. I guess Uncut is people are joining that too. But the X is where really everything, the most people are in Web3. We need to, I think as a whole, Wax needs to, not the Wax team, but we all together as Wax, we need to get it out there more on Twitter and interacting with other people that aren't just Wax and things like that. We've talked before about like good tips for using the Twitter, for the algorithm and that kind of thing. Replying and reposting is better than liking. And you want to be, all that takes time too, but the more you interact and the more you do that kind of stuff, the more engagement you're going to get overall and things like that. Wax Pothead says Bounty Block 2, use that. I'm learning. Yeah, if you're wanting to do giveaways, Bounty Block is an amazing tool for Wax to do that.
Hey, I have a live in 5 minutes in Twitch. I'm going to share on the big screen around our area.
All right, sounds good. Make sure that you don't cast the audio into that screen share. It'll have an option there. Just
I will
keep it up, yeah, because it doesn't keep it confined to the zone. All right, sweet.
Thank you, bro.
So, Consumer, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, thank God. Okay, sorry. And I didn't get cut off, did I?
Nah, you're good.
Oh, okay.
When does drop come out? Like at NFTOPIA?
What, mine?
Yeah.
Next Friday at 8 o'clock.
Oh, next Friday. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got Wax. We're good.
Yeah. And that's a PFP. For
Yeah, they look dope. I was looking through them and the Cyclops looking one looks sick, but I think it's called something else.
Thank you, Sil.
We also have the collector's badge drop. That'll also be Saturday morning.
The collector badges are fire as well.
They're awesome.
Everyone should be collecting them for real because, like, the MPs on them are pretty good as well, like, just in Dungeon Master or whatever. But they always sell for, like, super high, and I'm like, I don't want to sell it, though.
That's why I always have to buy multiple.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to have to grab 2.
Yeah, they do look awesome. We haven't released the video at all of it. There is the image over there inside. What's awesome is about our achievement badges. If anybody didn't know, we have rotating artists, exhibitors, artists that are making those for every event that we do. So they're always unique each time, and it's very cool. The collector's badge this time was made by Fifth Spatial. But yeah, and there's still some more arts coming. So here by the weekend, all of that will be laid out. It'll be on the walls and things. So I think it's really neat. This space is really neat to be able to do custom self-serve where I'm adding like the images and the walls and things like that. But at the same time, I would love to load the whole thing with models too. And you will find some 3D models in some of the booths. It's their own models that we've accepted. I'd like to do that like all over, but those 3D models, they are the heaviest. So if we load this place up with stuff, that's what will make things too slow. So it's kind of a balance of everything, and we don't really know how it'll also be with a bunch of people. It seems fine right now with 15. If we get 100 or more, we don't know how much that'll slow down. So we'll just find out when we do it.
But it looks cool, doesn't it? I think for me, when I saw the images, I mean, you know me, I loved NFTOPIA, I love Digicon, but this feels like a convention space. Like that Warsaken stand looks like a Warsaken stand that I would expect to see at a real life convention.
Yeah,
like
it's really cool. Hey, next time
amazing.
You're out into the main area, walk into the Fifth Spatial booth too. For a little surprise that he made on his. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, because one thing that we're trying to do to reduce the load is some things won't show up unless you enter the chat zones.
Okay. That's a good idea. I mean, you just have to see, won't you?
So which is cool anyway. It's like an Easter egg to see it, but hopefully that helps with that loading time whenever those models don't get loaded in unless you step in. So
yeah.
So does anyone have any questions about what I've said, or would anyone like to tell me that I'm wrong? Because I genuinely, sort of like, as I said, that's for me. Sort of like, did anything resonate with people that are here, or did anybody think, no, Matt, you're talking absolute toss you up? Because it's interesting.
Or that in the house, Killer Pack, Bars 83 Dawn.
Here he is.
What's up, everybody?
ACK Mute. Matt, I found it very helpful, actually.
Come to the metaverse. Come to the metaverse to our booth.
Oh, hiya. So, was there anything in particular that stood out? Optic, you go.
Yeah, okay. I don't even know what I was going to ask. It just looks cool. Your profile pictures again. Like, influenced by like the pale kids, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, well, they get a heavy influence from a toy line from the 80s.
But then Monsters is more like Pokemon, isn't it?
Yeah,
the garbage thing.
there was a thing called Monsters in My Pocket, and the sort of like the closer, shall we say, the closer brand. They were called Beast. What were they called? Like, I'll have to Google it.
Mega Beast or something, yeah.
Yeah, Mega Beast or something like that. And they came in double packs. And I wanted to do something that was within the theme of Karen. So it's quite loose, but they're from the Bubblegum Serial Killer, which is our last PFP. And I just wanted to do something that was ultra collectible, and I wanted to do something where I could do proper animated action figures as well. So what you've got with that series one is the generative PFP, the triple pack. But then if you participate in the drop, you'll be able to claim the blend tokens to get the digital figures as well as individuals. And then you've got the new version of armored creatures coming out, which are called upgraders, which will be
upgraded or something.
Yeah, so that's just like the same sort of thing, but you get the consumable.
They're in a packet. Yeah.
the accessories, and then you'll be able to blend either the rare one or the super rare one. So it's just playing with it, and then if people like it, we'll do a series 2. If people don't like it, we'll just keep it as the one thing. But I think it's our best one yet, to be honest.
I think it's sick. Yeah, I think it's real sick. I'm a bit confused by the token bit. Like, do you need 2 blend tokens, like one for one thing and then one for another?
No. So, sorry, there is 2 blend tokens. So there's a glow in the dark blend token. There's 150 glow in the dark.
Yeah,
and there's 300 standards. So if you buy 5 from the drop, you'll be able to claim another standard blend token, right? If you buy 10 or more, you'll also be able to grab another one. And then if we sort of don't run out, we'll do it again. So we'll up the limit on launch night. But as an employee, you can claim them now.
Oh, can I? Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
So you should be able to go and get at least one.
All that Spookfest. Like, the Spookfest was really cool as well. Like, I looked and I was like, damn, they gave away buildings and everything.
Yeah. So
it was a slot machine, weren't it? Or something like that.
Yeah, so basically it was just with the first Karen Burger, the idea was that you made locations, and then you sort of like got your base ingredients, made your locations, put them in the farm. With this one, you can make locations and then upgrade them, because when we do the full new version, Series 2, that's the sort of mechanics that I want to do, with lots of different staking levels, with lots of different.
Cool, you're building on it, yeah. Well built.
Even down to having a restaurant and then being able to choose whether you serve fried chicken.
But even them small ones I picked, then like I need to sell like my burgers and all the other things.
Yeah.
Giving them away, I just need to sell them.
Sell them.
Give them to someone else in there exactly that needs them. Because like, if I'm just giving it to a random wallet, they're just getting a burger in there.
Yeah. Cool, man. Cool. So, was there anything in the presentation that stood out for you? Anything that you learned there that you didn't know before? I mean, not entirely relevant because you're primarily a streamer, but like you've got a collection, haven't you?
Yeah. I don't know. I look at numbers all the time. I think scarcity is a big thing, like you said there.
Yeah.
Like that one is like truth. I think it's like even 50 mints. Like I looked and someone burnt 9 mints out of a 50 mint, and I'm like, bro, you just wow. That's like not a rare anymore. That's an epic now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That is a problem with sort of like getting rarities right.
Well, you can't control that either, and I like the way you incentivize burning as well. Like the back tokens was really cool. Like I'm glad one that like brought that back to a
in
my opinion.
You burnt 4.
It's like the minute Pink GG got off, they were like, let's add that feature back.
Well, we could always do it through NFT, right?
Yeah,
you can now see
Alcor added it as well, didn't they? But yeah, you can see it now. Yeah.
And we'll be doing loads of those at Christmas. But no, it's good to hear.
Did you do that every single one then? So like this?
No, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Sorry, I didn't do it for the last. I did it for Karen Burger. I did it for Karen, and I did it for Serial Killer.
Right.
I don't like to announce it before, because there's a lot of
people buy for the wrong reasons. Then,
well, it's not so much that. It's that there's loads of people who are currently holders that haven't bought anything for 12 months, but if they get the whiff of something free, they're more than willing to come back. So I prefer to sort of like keep it as like, no, we're doing it now, because the people that are paying attention are the people who I want to give the wax back to, if you know what I mean. I'm all for sharing, but like if you haven't been collecting for 12 months, you can't expect to get something of that value every time. And we'll be changing the reward system slightly next year to mitigate that. There'll be like 2 levels as opposed to 1. Anyone else got any questions on the presentation? Or any other things people think we should have covered?
We certainly covered a lot more in the past events, and anyone can go check those out. We do have like some things happening that anybody can participate without having an exhibit. We got the swag bounty block that goes back to giveaways. Say some projects like to give something to every single attendee, like stuff we all get, you know. And that a promo NFT is a perfect thing for that. Like that's what Matt is meaning, distinguishing like AAA and promo and things.
Promo, yeah.
You can have a big drop, something special and planned and all that, without giving any of it away. But then you can have a promo NFT that's separate, that's just promoting that big drop, and that's the one you would give away. Or like he said, if you just put the logo in the NFT itself in some way, remix it or put it into your style or match it, just slap it on top of something that is yours, that is your art, whatever. It's a collab NFT now, and it's exclusive. And it's
I love the Conga. The Conga NFT was the best.
Yeah,
the Conga,
And
you're
Conga's
welcome
gonna
to
be
do
so weird than this. We're gonna be like,
yeah, we're gonna have the Conga in here, walk around the whole room. Yeah, you can do screenshots of the place, videos, whatever, and then whether it's a drop or not, you can give that to us for the swag, and it gets your name out there, and we'll put your Twitter account into an entry. Same thing.
Can I just say before you go on there, I'm really glad you said that, right? Because that again is a classic example of where I'm doing what I'm doing that's right for me now, right, in my presentation. I'm in no way sort of like saying that promo NFTs can't work in relation to where I was saying about high value and low value. That's when you're selling stuff. You can still use your NFTs as the ultimate promotional tool. But that always comes with the caveat of just be careful, because a lot of them end up on the floor and then they can end up tripping you up later on. So you do have to be sort of like, you still have to consider it. But yeah, I'm in no way sort of like saying what consumer said there was right. You know, promo NFTs can be brilliant. Is Kiki asleep? Sorry. Francis joined the metaverse.
We also talked about data a bit last time, which is a bit more detailed, but that's something you can do, is analyze who is buying your stuff or who is holding your stuff and being active, whether it's the market or it's drops or whatever it is. It's all in the blockchain. And if you can download your wallet list from the drops from your buyers, or you can just look at the holders and stuff like that. You can do airdrops to them. And that comes back to utility, which we didn't cover, which I know you don't like that word, utility. Rewards and perks, but things that people do to add value to their collection that's not pure art, which can be a huge manner of things, and it's all part of the whole brand package whenever you're using all of it. But these are all things that you can consider. You can use Wax to make farms. You can use these other platforms to make packs and blends. Packs and blends are really easy for us to use with no coding, and it adds so much more layers to your collection if you were to plan it out and especially with rarities. That's probably the best way to do rarities, is you choose your own percent of what you get when you pull the packs, and then you can add different layers of rewards to the different rarities. The same thing with blending your way up. So you see a lot of collections doing that in all different kinds of ways, but as a new creator, you should be thinking about that.
Sorry, the wife's just getting some goodies from the fridge because it's snack night. No, 100% agree with what you said there. Like, it's just all no-brainers. I've got nothing to add. Sorry, I was a bit distracted.
Anybody want to get on the mic or in the text about anything? We do have a couple announcements. First of all, you can go ahead and put your exclamation mark play and your wallet into the Twitchers right there. If you want to get into a grubfish for some pins, which is fun to see on the big screen too. We have also a big old giveaway right here, and I'm going to put that in here too, where all you do is post your screenshot of your avatar onto that post, and you'll earn a free common pin for doing it. And then also there'll be a drawing of 100 wax and an epic pin. So make sure to do that. Let's see your avatars on that post. Let's see what you got. Put your wallet there. The pins are being used at the convention. there will be giveaway entries, and also you can blend the rare pin or the epic pin to get the rare or the epic collector's badge. Also, we will have a farm coming up soon this week. So no details on like what pool it has and stuff, but you'll be able to stake non-custodial of any of your NFTs, except not the commons or the rare pins. You need to blend those up. But all those past achievement badges for every event that you get, and also the epic pins will stake in there whenever that happens. And there's much more that we can add as we're able to do. We'll try to. But what's really cool is, again, the art. It's not just a single artist or anything. It's a huge collective of all of the different artists on Wax doing it, and they're credited whenever that happens. So that's very exciting. Any questions about anything? Things we talked about, or about the convention in general?
No, I think, sorry, listening to you speak there, right, I was like, oh my God, to take this to the next level now, we need to create the content jointly for the next NFTopia, because I'm still doing it in a silo. So, we'll take with that shop. We shouldn't be talking that now, but I think that you can add a lot more color to the start presentations. Maybe we'll even start to tag team it, because there's certain stuff that I'm forgetting now, right? Because I'm so deep into it, yeah, and I spend so much time working on Drawn Company as is now. I'm forgetting all the points that you're coming up with. And I'm sure if we discussed it, we'd both come up with even more. So yeah, we'll take that offline. But yeah,
okay, works.
Yeah. Come on, more questions. Tell me I'm wrong about something. I like being told I'm wrong, because I'm not always right. And what I presented was what was relevant to Drawn Company. So is there anybody else who's got differing experiences that could add some color? Even if it's text, we can read it out.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just interesting to share. And it doesn't have to be about what we discussed. What's your top tip?
A top tip?
Continue. A top tip.
Yeah. A top tip would be to be engaging with your community as let's see how to put this into words. Be transparent. Just transparent, open about your community. You're part of it, and you're making it for them in addition to what your vision was. And don't be afraid to get on cam. You don't have to be on cam, but don't be afraid to get out to talk to people on streams and everything, like in here, and talk to your community. Do it in text, do it in AMAs, do it in whatever way. Let them know that you're there, and you're the project, you're the brand, you're there, because that's what they're truly investing in.
Yeah, I always see that, sorry. And when I was doing my audio stabs, which sadly have got lost, right? And I was going to create some more for Comic-Con, but if I do one more thing, I'm literally going to collapse of exhaustion. But I used to have a joke, which is when people used to ask me about utility, I used to say I am the utility, because that's the truth. The project owner is ultimately the ultimate sort of like...
Oops. I had to refresh to do that.
No, but I think, what Consumer was saying though is bob on. It's sort of like you've got to sort of like build your your project from the ground up, and you've got to build trust. You've got to be transparent in everything. You can't be doing anything shady, because you'll just get caught out. And if you don't get caught out by a collector, there'll be someone that catches you out for being, doing something that's slightly underhand, and it can get out of control. So being transparent all the time, engaging with people, that is what really sort of like builds a brand in Web3. I don't think you need to be on camera all the time. I think it helps, but it's always being approachable. Even if you don't want to be on camera, it's making sure that when people ask questions, you're there to answer the questions.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not possible 24 hours, is it?
No,
But
no,
there's
it's
things you
not.
can do to mitigate that.
No, it's not. But
Like having a
yeah,
Discord where everybody's there, because if I'm not there to answer a question, 9 times out of 10, another collector will have answered the question if it's a humdinger. Which is sort of like that for me is the ultimate point, is the people around you who can step into your shoes when you're not there. And actually in Drawn Company that happens all the time, and it makes me proud, because that means that someone's got such faith in the brand, they've got such faith in what I do, that they feel confident enough to ask a question that somebody else asks to be helpful. And I think that's positive. We lost you there, consumer, and I had to wing it. I had to do some filler. But it was hardcore filler.
I'm back. I didn't realize when you change your Ready Player Me avatar, you got to refresh. But look at this thing.
Oh, there you go.
So, but yeah, if you look at your avatars and look at the Ready Player Me, you can do a few more things here.
You've got really loud.
Really loud?
Like really loud. Is anybody else getting really loud, or is that just me? Anybody? Nope.
Nope, I think it's just you.
I don't think I
just
can
me.
control the mic volume.
How weird.
I mean, I can
Oh,
like
well,
down here, but it seems okay on Twitch though.
That's weird. I'm going to refresh though. I'll be back in a minute.
Whoops. Well, am I super loud for anybody? Is my mic too loud? I got the old Criticraft up here. We're gonna give away some pins, a common pin to everybody that plays. How about that? And that'll just be fun for who gets the leaderboard. We only got 7 in here.
Well, I'm back.
Yellow.
Yo, the space looks so cool. Like, I'm just looking at the event schedule, which is on the boards there.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm at San Diego Comic Con. It's beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, when you guys go and check it. Oh, Atlas Drawer said something here. Oh, the avatar didn't change for you the way you see it in my stream, but clearly I'm in here like this. Oh,
it's weird, isn't it? I haven't got the change either.
So I still look like the. But you.
I saw the change right away on my end.
Huh. And it's not a refresh thing, because I've refreshed after that, and I'm still seeing you as the
I'm on Chrome on my
dude.
laptop, if that makes a difference.
The bow and arrow guy, you still see that? I got this weird costume on there now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, 2 new one I've seen for a minute here.
Anyway, I don't know.
I almost put that one on last night.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't even know that you could pick this one. Actually, they only recently made it to where it showed more than the head. So before that, it was only the head, but only like last week, and now you can do all of them. So yeah, I like them. I like them. And yeah, when you get a chance, you have a walk through the whole place. You can teleport too. The go-to at the top has all the moose there. We're still gonna add like logos and stuff. There's still a good number of them that are going to be added content. You'll notice that it's not slideshows on the actual booths. It's going to be only the banner images, but then you'll be able to click on them and it'll go to another page that has the slideshow content on it. This is to save metaverse space, but also it kind of I think is a neat feature, because then you can click on them to open a tab and then read it later or bookmark it. So you don't have to be there in metaverse to read slides at once. If you like something, you can flip it for later. So
cool. Well, that was a good school. I've got to say, to be honest, it was really well attended. Like, I know people who are here might not think that there's a lot of people here, but we are building it, and we've had varying numbers, haven't we? Like
Yeah,
it
a little
seems to go up and
classroom
down.
of people, right? A little classroom of 15 or whatever.
That's great. Thanks for all coming out
Yeah,
and
for
putting up with
sure.
me.
Thank you all for trying out the metaverse, hanging out. I'm sure there will be a good amount of people here this weekend. I hope we can bring it to 100. That'd be really sweet all at once. I know that we've had more than 100 unique people in the past, but they weren't there at the same time. So that's a different metric there. So
Yeah.
we'll find out. Also, and what? So I had a few announcements here. We had the Randmass, did Wombat provide any swag? Yeah, they provide lots of packs. Yeah. I had a post here from the X for your avatar. Don't forget that. But then also we have a whole nother metaverse convention happening on Tuesday, October 31st, and it'll be at this website, futurefest.io, and that is actually put on. It's going to be almost no wax projects other than NFTOPIA. We got us a booth there, y'all, and it's a really cool platform too, and it'll be a test for us because they'll work with us if we want to make future conventions there. So that is one of the options. FutureFest is, and they have a high-end kind of video game-like platform, but it's probably going to be too slow for older computers. So that's really the only thing I think that's the con. You might have to have a minimum machine to be able to get in there efficiently. They do have the online version too, so anyone can, but it might end up slow. So that's what we'll be testing on Tuesday. And they also have 40 exhibitors that are Cardano and Polygon and VeChain projects. So I'm going to be there streaming most of the day. It's just a one-day thing they got going on. But they have those booths. They look great from the teasers. They also have like activities, a corn maze. It's the Halloween themed. They also have live music and stuff. And whatever people we meet, we can spread the good wax name. That's a very good thing here because it's all crypto people that don't know wax. So we can, if anybody wants to follow along with me while I'm streaming and go talk to people there and get them to come here during the weekend, that'd be dope. As far as this stream goes, yeah, we're going to wrap it up soon. So if there's any last questions for Matt here about any of this or for me, we're still going to be working hard this week. So, but we're in Discord and stuff. So just, you can hit us there too. Look out for the farm details. And then, of course, the party starts Saturday morning. Druber says, we are wax ambassadors everywhere we go. That's right.
100%.
Spread the good word of wax. All right. I got 7 people in the grubfish. Is that all we're going to get? You have to get into the Twitch.
Guys, I'm going to drop out because I've got to go and help with baby.
Really appreciate
I'll see you all next.
Yeah, appreciate the talk, the presentation, the tips.
Always
awesome.
a pleasure.
Awesome to have you.
Okay, cool. We'll see you later. Bye.